Warning: this video has a serious case of TMI. You have been warned. Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a little story. So obviously by the title, this story is about my first period. So if there's any boys watching, even if you did click on the video with that title, click out because you're just going to get grossed out at this point. But seeing as most of my viewers are aged between 13 and 15 years old, I figured this was a pretty cool story to share with you guys because I'm a girl, I've been through it and you guys are probably going through it or about to go through it. So I figured it was kind of a cool way to kind of connect us and share stories and whatever. And plus I thought it'd be kind of cool to branch out from things other than makeup and kind of talk about more girly stuff. So if you clicked onto this video to learn some information about getting your period and what it's all about, this probably isn't the one for you. I'm also just telling the story of my very first period because it's kind of funny and embarrassing and I think you guys will kind of like it. So if you're here for information, I'm not exactly going to be going over too much solid information, but if it is something that you guys are interested in, please leave it as a request or something because I'd be more than happy to do this, because as uncomfortable as it is to be talking about periods and things like that, all girls go through it, so we might as well kind of bring it out in the open. So yeah, let me know if you're interested in seeing a video from me about periods and tampons and pads and all that kind of stuff, but for the time being, this is my story of my very first period. So I got my period when I was 11 years old, which is extremely young. Well, not super young, but it's not exactly something that I was expecting at that time. Like, I was still someone who would play with toys and things like that. Like, 11 years old was way too young. I did not expect it at all. But of course it bloody happened. Oh my god, I should not use the word bloody. Okay, that's the last time I used the word bloody in this video. But yeah, I was 11 years old when I first got my period and my mum hadn't actually spoken to me about anything about periods. She hadn't told me what to expect. I didn't even know what it was when I got it. But on the day I got my period, like I said, I was 11 years old and at that time I had my very first serious boyfriend. Serious because we were 11 years old, but whatever. But we lived on the same street, so every day I would walk down to his house and we would sit out the front of his house and talk and just sit there and pretty much waste our time and do nothing. But every day, 5 o'clock, I would go down to his house and we would talk. So on this day, 5 o'clock rolled around and I was walking down the street and I always made sure that I dressed up nicely to see him. Even though he'd seen me every day for about a year, I still made sure that I dressed up nicely. So on this day, I had a nice purple long sleeve shirt, kind of like what I'm wearing now, with a short white mini skirt. Now, I already know what your mind's thinking, but I'll just keep going with the story. So 5 o'clock rolls around and I went down to see him and we were talking, and it probably got around to 5:45 or something like that when my mum usually called me up to have tea. So we said our goodbyes, I gave him a hug and a kiss and everything, and it was really cute because we were 11 years old. And I started walking up the street and going back to my house. So once I got home, I immediately went to the toilet just because, I don't know, I had to pee or something. And when I got into the toilet, God, this is so weird to address, but how can I say it? So I pulled my skirt down and I pulled my underwear down to go to the toilet, as you know. And I looked down and I was wearing purple underwear on the day. So if you put red on purple, it looks brown. So I actually thought that I was sick and I went number 2 in my underwear because it was brown. It looked like, you know, that was kind of taunting. So I immediately kind of just picked up those clothes off the tiles, put them aside, went to the toilet, and then I put them in the washing because I was like, oh my god, I've pooped myself. So then I changed my clothes and whatnot and went and had dinner, and then about an hour later I went to the toilet again. I don't know why, but I went to the toilet again and I looked down and it happened again. And for some reason I was wearing orange underwear, so red over orange turns brown again, and I thought, oh my god, I've pooped myself again. But this time when I went to the toilet and I wiped myself, I actually saw blood on the toilet paper, so that's when I started freaking out because, as I said, my mum hadn't spoken to me about periods, so I had no idea what the hell was going on. So yeah, after I decided that I was bleeding, I went and told my mum and she, you know, gave me the whole gist of, yes, it's just your period. I can't believe this happened so early. And unfortunately for mum, this was like 8 o'clock at night or something, so she had to run down to Coles at 8 o'clock just to get me some pads. So poor old mum getting traumatized, and meanwhile I'm just here freaking out bleeding. So that was that. But the most embarrassing part of this story is yet to come. As I found out I was bleeding, I figured, well, I'd better take my clothes out of the washing basket that I put in before and properly soak them so they're not ruined by blood. So I got my skirt and my underwear out from earlier and I looked onto my skirt, and on the back of this white skirt there was this big, no joke about that big, red patch of blood. Now, it was already traumatizing enough to know that this was happening to me, but seeing that there was blood on my white skirt, I absolutely freaked out because I thought, oh my god, there's no way my boyfriend did not see this. Like, it is huge. It looks like I've been shot in the butt. And all of the friggin' days that I had to wear a white skirt, it was the day I got my period. And that was the prime example of all the nightmare stories I used to read in Dolly magazine of girls getting their period with white pants or getting it all over their boyfriend. Like, that was just the quintessential bad period story. So that was my time. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to tell that story so it kind of gave you guys more of an insight to me and kind of bring us closer, because every girl gets their period, so there's no point in being ashamed of it, and we might as well laugh at the funny experiences that we get with it. But anyways, that was my story of my very first period. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing it. Maybe you got a few giggles out of it. Maybe you even recognize that story yourself. But other than that, I'm going to wrap it up because I'm running late and I have to get going. So I will see you in my next video, and I hope you enjoyed me embarrassing myself in front of 20,000 people. Bye guys. Hey guys, so today's video is going